Okay, as it said in your order of service, that the sermon today is siding with love. And I hope that today too, that everything that we're kind of doing will fit into this also for this message. You never know when the moment of decision will come. Perhaps it is on the school playground when you see the class bully picking on a new victim. Or standing in the checkout line at a grocery store behind a young mother whose screaming child has her at her wit's end. Or at a staff forum at work when you pledge to take some unpaid leave days that could help save a co-worker's job. Such moments come in different ways to each of us, but they do come. They remind us that the decisions we make in our day-to-day lives do make a difference. They point out that ongoing choices we make between standing uncomfortably on the sidelines of our messy world, unsure of what we can do, and acting deliberately in small but concrete ways to help create a kinder, more compassionate reality. They return to us the powerful truths that in critical times it is possible to stand on the side of love, and in the mystic's words, to help the mighty power to surge upward and surmount every obstacle by defending and supporting and advocating for each other as we all were equal in our humanity. Or do they? After all, we're fallible, we're human. Is it really this powerful as far as siding with love? As I presented in my presentation a couple Sundays ago about the significance of the chalice that represents the Unitarian Universalists, and that the chalice was a symbol during World War II that with the persecution of the Jews, Gypsies, or anybody that just didn't fit into the Aryan race, they could look and see that chalice and know that it represented safety and a pathway, and again, example for love and compassion. As I look over the congregation, I see love. I see love for humanity. And I know, and forgive me, I sometimes don't like doing this because I leave people out. I don't want to offend anyone. But I know as I look over the group, I project a number of people that volunteer their time to soup kitchens, to Meals on Wheels, legal advice, counseling, or just to be a friend or a companion. About grandparents raising grandchildren. The Change for Change is a good example of love. It is a spiritual paradox. It's precisely we live in a world which knows the evils of greed and violence and the seas of human indifference, that we understand just how sacred it is by our acts of love and compassion actually triumph. And it is precisely because we live in a world which knows such triumphs that we cannot fully give up hope on humanity. If there's one thing that I appreciate about our Unitarian Universalist philosophy, is the invitation and siding with love in the current times. It is that invitation that invites love as an active force in our lives. So much of our understanding of love can be passive and talk of falling in love or being helplessly in love. Probably been there, okay? So, or we assume that love's automatic presence in families or a home or community are shocked to learn otherwise. But I do believe that love is more than merely a power that claims us. It is also a power that we claim by choosing our response to the truth of the world. But once we accept love as a choice, then we must also come to the terms with where that choice leads us. This is a profound and radical insight into our universalist forebears, that if love comes from God, then there can be no exceptions. Love cannot be just for one or some of us. If it is for any of us, it must be for all. Love cannot be just for those with loud voices, but also for the voiceless. Love cannot be or just for who still hope, but also for those in despair, that help and hope will ever come. So take a moment to reflect this particular time in our own life, in the lives of your family and friends, and in the state of our community and our world. Who needs us to side with them in love? What moral questions does our commitment to love call us to address this coming year? I don't have the answers, nor are the choices only mine to make. But I lift up the questions to speak in conversation. As individual people who we care about in this world, and as a community of faith, memory, and hope. Recently, reflecting on the opportunities to stand by love, a friend of mine said, "Why do we have to have a side? Must there always be a side?" I understand her regret. The last thing our world needs is more division. One answer might be that the call to siding with love is made in the spirit of inclusion. But I also think that we are being invited to occupy a new place on a new side of understanding about what it means to live spiritually in our world. Love is a choice. It is deep and life-changing passion, not just for our hearts, but also for our souls. Okay. In conclusion, I would like to quote one of my other favorite people, Eleanor Roosevelt. "When you have decided what you believe, what you feel must be done, have the courage to stand alone and be counted. The giving of love is an education in itself. The future belongs to those who believe in beauty of their dreams."